Hello everyone, hope everyone is doing great. It's time for another short little video, but this time I'm going to stray a little bit off the path because it just hit me that, this was something that recently caught my attention, and you'll find out why in a little bit. And I decided, this would be a great subject to do a video on. So I'm going to go over some of the desoldering tools that I've used throughout the years. And obviously there's some that I don't have here, but I'm going to really show my new favorite. It's actually related to this right here, but I don't have the tool on there right now. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about each one of these because over, when I started, working on electronics, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, I always used to use these kind of desoldering tools. And they're kind of okay, they work. I mean, they do the job. But the problem is that, sometimes you need to do either, if you try to do it with one hand, it's really hard. And then sometimes they get stuck. So when you release them, sometimes you've seen that it kind of triggered out a little bit and then it got stuck before it continued, so they're okay, but so then recently I had found this one right here. It's called an Engineer SS02. That's the brand. And this one is actually very good compared to this one right here. It actually has a silicone tip right here that you can actually put it right up to the soldering iron and it won't melt. It's actually amazing. I thought that would melt. But this one's a little bit easier to use with one hand. You can just press it and then release it and it pops out, and of course it creates a suction. And it's pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to this one now. This one is actually like a soldering iron. This one actually I bought in Radio Shack many years ago. I probably had this about at least 12 years. I don't remember exactly how long, but I haven't really used it in a very long time. So this one right here is just like a soldering iron. It produces its heat and everything, and then you just basically squeeze the little bulb here. You put it up against the thing you want to desolder, and then you release it, and it's supposed to suck it up. But it's not really good. I think that even this cheap one here, which probably cost about $12 or less, works better than this one as far as the suction is. But obviously this one provides its own heat. And with these two right here, you actually have to put the soldering iron on the part that you want to desolder, and you have to obviously depress this, put it on there, and then suck it out. So you need two hands, one for the soldering iron, one for the suction. So it's all fine and dandy, but the problem with this one is, like I said before, is the suction is not very good at all. So some of you guys may have noticed, I've recently got back into trying to get into my old Commodore 64 computers, which was one of the very first computer I had. So I have got myself a few of these bread bin Commodore 64, which ones the original ones that were released in 1982. And then I also have a couple of Commodore 64Cs, which was the newer version that was released in the mid 80s. This one's a little bit yellow, but I also got a couple of them that are not working. So what I've been doing is I've been going through, desoldering the chips off of these boards and trying to get them to, maybe using chips from one that doesn't work for a certain reason to another one that is semi-working. At least I'm getting video out of it, but I need to replace some of the chips. So on this one, I had already replaced all the sockets here. I had put sockets so that way if we need to put any chips on there, we could just put them on and take them off to make it easier to swap them. But in order to do that, obviously I've had to go through these boards, and I have to desolder every single one of these things. And some of these chips have 40 pins, so it becomes very tedious and cumbersome to do many of them. And I've spent many hours working on this stuff. So that prompted me to get the tool that I'm about to talk about right now. But before I do that, just to give you an example, these are a lot of the chips that I have gotten off of the other Commodores that are not working. So it's quite a few of them actually. These are all dead. They're not working at all. and all of these, as far as I know, all of these are working. So I got a couple of CIA chips, a couple of CPUs, a couple of PALs and SIDs over here. I think PLAs, not PALs. A couple of PLAs and SID chips, and then some character ROMs and all that stuff. So that's what I've been doing. That's why I haven't been recording a lot of videos lately. And the one that I'm working on right now, which I'm trying to get it to a working condition, is this one right here. But as you can see, all the chips are socketed. Every single one of them is socketed except the PLA, the SID, the CPU, and the VIC-2 over here. So obviously I'm gonna have to do a lot of desoldering, and that's what prompted me to try to get this new tool. I bought from Amazon, and I usually try not to buy from Amazon as much as possible. I usually try to buy from independent sellers, you know, just because Amazon is already taking over the world, so I don't want to contribute more to that. It is convenient, but this is one of the very few things that I did find for a lower price. Even though it's all Chinese and everything, it did come from the United States. So I got it in a couple of days. And the way you can find it is if you just search for S993A, it'll come up, or just put desoldering, electric desoldering pump or something like that, and this is what you get. So it comes with this little stand right here, so you can put it on. I added this wire right here just because I wanted, you know, so it doesn't go to the sides. It holds pretty good, but I just wanted to add that on there so that when I put it on here, you know, it kind of holds it in place. It doesn't let it go, you know, this way or that way. So that's why I added it, but it's not really necessary. It actually holds pretty good even without that there. So maybe I was just being paranoid. But anyway, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you with this one right here. I'm going to remove, I'll probably remove one of these big CIA chips, or just because, you know, they have 40 pins. And if I was to try to do that with this one right here, it would probably take me 30 minutes probably to do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it with that new pump, and I'm gonna show you just how easy it is. I've seen a lot of bad reviews about it in a way that there are better tools, and there is a Heiko or Hackle, which is a blue and yellow one, and it costs like close to $300, I think. You know, so obviously there is better ones, but this one was like $120, I believe, and so far from what I could see, it's doing the job great. You know, so if you want to save some money, this is going to be a good one for that. Okay, so I'm back already. I already connected the desoldering tool, and it already warmed up. Surprisingly enough, it only takes a little bit to warm up, probably about a minute and a half to two. It's a lot faster than the soldering irons. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to take off this chip right here. So we're going to have to basically flip it over, and it's going to be these traces right here that we're going to take off. This is the keyboard connector over here. So I'm going to switch over to this other camera, and we're going to see if it lets us do it. I mean, it'll let us do it. I'm just not sure how good it's going to look. So I'm going to not talk during this process too much, because I'm going to have to probably lower the sound because it's going to be very loud. So probably just do a couple of them at regular speed, and then I'll fast forward through the rest of them because it's 40 of them. So here we go. So I'll do a couple of them and then I'll show you how it looks because it is amazing. Whoops, that one didn't work. So not sure if you can see that right there, but see, they're coming out pretty clean. That one, the fourth one right there, looks like it didn't get it all the way. Alright, so I already got one whole roll of them. So you can see the difference between the side that I did and the side that I haven't done. So it looks pretty clean all the way through. So let's see, right now we'll take a look at it on the other side. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and do the other roll. Alright, so it looks like they're all done. Everything looks pretty good. Let's see how it looks on this side. Yeah, they all look like they're pretty much loose. So what I usually like to do is I get a screwdriver and I just start pulling on it little by little like this, just to make sure. See, that side came out all the way. Really easy. So there it is. Let's get rid of that. So it came out and no legs were damaged in the process. So that's pretty good, man. I mean, it makes it so much easier. And I didn't realize that my refrigerator decided it would turn on one more time. So I'm gonna go back to this view right here so you can see the holes are pretty much all cleaned out. Let's see. Not bad, huh? I think that took about 3 minutes to do it. And I'm still learning. I'm just, you know, this is only the second day that I use this machine. So it's pretty damn good. Yeah, so without that machine, it probably would have taken me about at least half an hour to take off this. And that's if everything went smoothly. And you know, sometimes I've had like little things that I've done in for SimVim cockpit. Like for example, you know, I've done one of these little things here, and then I realized that, oh, I wanted to put the female headers, you know, but it's such a pain to go through and unsolder everything, you know, that I just say, I'll just leave it like that and make some adapter or whatever to it. But it's pretty convenient to be able to do, you know, something like taking, you know, some of these headers off, you know, in a minute or two. So I won't be scared of desoldering anymore. Alright, so that's my little tool here. It is pretty big, you know. It's a pretty big tool. It's not that bad, you know. It's not heavy or anything. Oh, the only thing I did want to mention also is that it does have temperature control here, so you can set it, you know, from 350 degrees all the way up to 450 degrees, and it'll regulate itself, you know. So it'll be turning on and off, and that little indicator light will tell you. So this little stand right here is actually pretty sturdy. It's pretty heavy duty. Like I said, I probably didn't need to put this here, but I just wanted to put it there so it doesn't bobble to the sides. Now every once in a while, the only thing you need to do, and it's the same thing with everything, you know, with these tools right here, for example, every so often you would have to take off the tip so that you can clean it out. All the solder and everything that didn't come out, it would be stuck in there, and eventually you'll get to the point where, like I showed you before, it kind of sticks. You can see it does it in 2 sections, so you have to clean it out. Same thing with this one, even though this one is a lot better and a lot smoother when it lets go. Oh look, there's a little bit of solder right there. But yeah, so every once in a while with this one here, you still need to open it up. You need to take this little tube off and you need to empty it out. And it's really quite simple. All you need to do is pull back on this, and you just take it off like that, and inside here you'll see all the solder right there. And if it gets stuck, you know, sometimes if you just go like this, it'll come off. It'll just come off like that. But if it gets stuck, maybe you can just reach in there with a screwdriver, you know, and knock it out. And that's pretty much it. And then you just basically put it back on. And I've only had to do this like after I desoldered maybe I don't know, maybe somewhere around 60 or 80 solder joints. So it's not very often. So what you end up with, you know, after you clean it up, this is the 3 times that I cleaned it up before, you get with these little mountains of solder, which is kind of cool, you know. So it's nice. It's a nice little tool. I highly recommend it. Like I said, it is kind of pricey, but it's definitely worth it. And if you're gonna be doing a lot of desoldering, man, you're gonna be so happy you got it. Alright guys, well, that's it for this little video, something different. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and like I always say, I'll see you on the next one.